How you doing, everybody? This is Team Hard Life Captain Albert Sertucci here. All right, so with all the reels that we're putting out there and spooling with the tough line braids and hollow core braids, I mean, this goes for any kind of braid that's out there, especially if it's a hollow core. Most of the time you don't deal with this with solid braid because it breaks off immediately when it happens. So y'all guys are in the safe, but for hollow core users, this is going to be a very important video because it will show you what to look for when you're using your braid, especially if you're casting like we do. One of the major things is that when you cast and you backlash, you tend to, if you bird nest, you'll actually melt your line and so forth. So as it happens when you cast out, if you backlash, what it does is it creates friction of the two lines moving against each other. And just like in the old karate movie with Mr. Miyagi, when he slaps his hands and starts rubbing his hands back and forth, he created friction. Well, that friction created heat. And for working on his pouty one right there, it was good, but for us it's bad because when the lines move together like that and they create friction, they tend to burn each other off and they cut each other off, basically, is what ends up happening. But with the hollow core braids, if it doesn't break off, it'll actually burn the strands of the braid, which will weaken it. Now, what does that look like? Well, come on in, let me show you real quick. All right, guys, so this was the top end section of one of our customers' reels, and when I started looking through it, I could see the sections of the fraying, and let's see if we can get it right there. Yeah, right there. You can see all those little strands poking out of it and stuff like that. That was from an actual backlash. And then, you know, you go further into the line and you'll find more. And normally when they're on the spool, see, there's another one right there. Let's see, yeah. Right there, you see all those little strands hanging out. Sometimes that's also from abrasion abrasion against, you know, rocks and stuff like that that normally would cut off a solid braid. But since this is hollow, it'll take a lot more abuse in those sections. So I'm looking for that major one that we saw, because what it does, it also discolors the braid, and I mean it can really put a hurting on you. And so when you're reeling in, this is stuff you want to keep track of. And as you see with me, when I'm spooling reels, I always keep my fingers on the line, because when you rub against it, you'll see that it creates a little more abrasiveness on the line. So you see it right here, a little bit right here. All right, guys, so I don't know if the video earlier caught it good, but I'm gonna go ahead and go through it again. Look for these frays, and what I'm looking for is a little extra strands of the line that are poking out of the braid. Yes, right here. You can see those little strands right there poking out of the braid. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for that. Here's another major one right here. See all that fraying right there? And this one we know is a backlash because it was several strands within the spool, and you can see the line literally straight up and down on this one. And here's, see how it's discolored right there? Right here is what I'm talking about. That's what you want to be looking for. You want to be looking for that frayed out section that won't be good. Let's see, here's another one right here. You can see right here where the end of my nail is, that bump section right there. See, and it turned it white right there. So that's what you're going to be looking for when you're using your hollow core braids. And I mean, there's a whole bunch of them on here. Let's see. Right there, you see those little ribs right there? That's a burn section. Right here as well. See that right there? See those ribs? That's a burn section right there. Right here. See right there, those little frays sticking out? See, because when I spooled this gentleman's reel, all of this was smooth. Now, he's been using it for several months, and, you know, he happened to walk in with it, so I did a little inspection of it and found it. And you can see those sections right there. See all that ribbing? Right there, right there, right there. Yep. So what we did was we measured, or we got an idea from that fray to this fray to that fray, and there was so many on that top end from that backlash that we went ahead and cut this out because it was cheaper to replace this braid instead of trying to splice in and splice in and splice in. Now, for those that are away from tackle shops, you know, that don't get a chance to go by as often, you can splice all this and fix it. This is still very good braid, but you need to have the needles, and if you don't, be sure to get with us. We can get them sent out to you real quick.